Spires and Magic. Maximus Reborn. Chapter 5. Fastest sense is tingling. One more time, Twilight said, earning an exasperated groan for Spider-Man. Come on, Peter. It's not as hard as you think it is. Stop watching me so intently. This is weird enough as it is, he said while he aimed his horn. It was glowed with bright clear Rarity at the large tree in front of him. Seriously, don't you think this is a little weird? No response was received from the violet-maned pony. Pierre took this as a shut-up and focus moment and channeled all of his concentration into his horn. Once sparkles began to fall, Pierre fired a small strand of webbing from the tip of his horn. But it did not travel far. Floating for an uninspiring couple of meters, chuckling sheepishly, Pierre glanced over at Twilight and silenced himself when he noticed her equally unimpressed expression. You were web-slinging just yesterday. What's wrong with you today? Pierre rolled his eyes. I'm usually A-OK when it comes to exams. This feels more like a trip to the doctor than school. As he furrowed her brow. How is practicing magic weird? You told me you thought it was interesting when we were reading The Wonders of Science and Magic. Now all of a sudden you think it's weird? They had been having this discussion for a matter of minutes, and seeing that Pierre's insistent complaining was steadily picking away at Twilight's nerves. He didn't mean to. Magic was a form of science in this world, and while his major was chemistry back home, his errant geek reveled at the opportunity to widen his studies. Right now, it was more a questionable subject matter that bothered Pierre. Twilight didn't seem to catch it. Think about the here and now. Don't you think it's a little unusual for a girl to shoot a boy shoot a sticky white substance out of his horn? He said with precise emphasis. The pair stood silent for what seemed an eternity. Pierre mentally cringed. He was suspecting his spider sense to warn him of Twilight's incoming attack, or his cruel humor. But he grew pale, terrified that his spider sense would not work when said attack was coming. Better yet, she could take the easy route and kick him out of the house. However, these thoughts were brushed aside when Twilight smiled silently. Oh, Pierre, mares and colts practice magic together all the time. There's nothing to feel weird about, she said innocently. Times like this made Pierre grateful for his mask design to hide his facial expressions. He not only stared at Twilight's slack-jawed. When he shook himself, it brought him back to the magic pony-filled reality he was trapped in. Made him wonder, Twilight was innocent or just egging him on? Judging for the experiences he had in his crazy life, Pierre was able to conjure that girls were unpredictable in every reality. He understood he was socially awkward, much like himself. But just as he was, at least Pierre could spot any window right underneath him. So, shooting my webbing out of my horn, does it remind you of anything? He said, groaning inwardly at the setup he made for himself. Of course it does. Spiders thread webbing in a similar manner, correct? She nodded, causing Pierre to slap his forehead. No, I mean something more suggestive. Remind you of anything? No. Nothing at all? No. This is too easy, Twilight. Knock it out of the park already! Pierre tilted his head to the side. Does the term bow wow mean ring a bell? Twilight's confused expression returned. What does that mean? It was official. Twilight was clearly innocent. Pierre shrugged his shoulders to defeated fashion, and returned his position in front of the tree. With his horn ready to try its magic again, Pierre closed his eyes and dove into his thoughts. Perhaps Twilight wasn't so much innocent, but maybe she honestly had no idea what he was talking about. Or maybe she just kept her mind on task! After a while, their respective home worlds were similar. There were several differences, too, and there was a chance the art of mommy and daddy dance were non-existent here. What? Pierre scoffed. No, Twilight was innocent. The mommy and daddy dance existed in all worlds. Some things are just destined to exist. His eyes went blank. He was thinking about this way too much. We agree! Pierre, stop! You're too deep in thought! Twilight yelled, snapping Pierre's concentration like a twig. Seriously, you are. Pierre groaned angrily. Pierre! Her voice was much louder this time. The magical energy that engulfed his horn became unruly and spread around his entire body. Concentrated with all his might, straining to reverse the effect. But it was for naught as his body began to tremble. His body revved up like a small engine before the energy around his body traveled back to his horn. Slapping his head shut and turning his head away from Twilight, Pierre braced himself for the worst-case scenario. He stood still, not wanting to trigger anything, but noticed his horn was no longer sparkling. Pierre let out a relieved sigh. Twilight went over to Pierre with a furrowed brow. You really need to be careful. You almost had a magical over... That same instant, Webby erupted from his horn, like lava foot from a volcano. It sent Pierre flying through the reaches of the forest, until he crashed through a tree into a boulder. Twilight, on the other hand, couldn't move as she wanted to. Webbing covered her entire body, and everything within a 20-foot radius. Load! She muttered. Her horn sparkled, burning away most of the webbing on her body, with the exception of her tail and mane. Paying it no mind, she galloped through the path of destruction Pierre created, until he found his limp frame and shredded costume embedded on this boulder of the unwanted flight. Pierre, are you okay? His head spun like a disc, his mind felt light as air, failing to settle the distorted images of Twilight back into place. In a dazed state of mind, Pierre slurred, How do I shot web? Dear Princess Celestia, I must... It's reminded me of the time I first got my superpowers. Having to experience, find my limits, and learn some bruises along the way. In today's case, a concussion. For now, until I learn how to properly use my magic, I'm going to go back to using my old web shooters. The problem is figuring out how to use them without fingers. But something will come to mind. I feel bad for what happened to Twilight. That's why I'm going to ask for a second magical tutor. Twilight's a great teacher, but I don't want to stress her out because she's so busy all the time. Think you could help me? P.S. My costume was torn pretty badly in today's accident, too. I used to be able to stitch it back myself, but that was back when I had fingers instead of hooves. Is there any way you could help out with that, too? Signed, Peter Parker. Dear Peter, it's very considerate of you to think of Twilight. I know the perfect pony who could help you with both your problems. There's no need to be secretive since the two of you have already met. Go see Rarity in the first thing in the morning. I'll inform her of the situation. Sincerely, Princess Celestia. The morning sun burned brightly overhead, but only fueled Pierre's laziness. A large yawn escaped from his mouth while he walked through Ponyville. He understood Princess Celestia wanted to go to Rarity's house in the morning. He figured 10 o'clock would be a reasonable time to leave, but Twilight thought otherwise and kicked him out at 7. You don't want to be late! The princess is doing you a favor! Show enthusiasm and be early! Pierre's eyes twitched involuntarily. Sleek girl, but very high-strung. As he glanced at his surroundings, Pierre marveled at the quaintness of the village. It was nothing compared to New York in terms of size and population, but Pierre found the cozy settings of the town to be one of the most endearing traits. Most of the ponies seemed fairly acquainted with each other, and even though he had only been there a few days, he had already recognized his face somewhat. Then, there was his friendly neighborhood counterpart. From billboards to posters, Spider-Man was already thought of as a hero. Pierre shook his head inwardly. With his luck, that would all change for the worse. After all, that's exactly what happened back home. He believed he was a marvel at first, but Jameson's insistent tripe tarnished his rep, leaving him labeled as a menace to society. Right now, the best Pierre could do was enjoy the positive feedback while it lasted. Finally, after a short travel, Pierre finally arrived at his destination. The house was wide, decorated with a red carousel design that would make any pony jealous, and the sight brought a smile to Pierre's face. Just a few days ago, Verity's house was set ablaze, and now it was back as if nothing had happened. Walking up to the door, Pierre stopped in his tracks, hesitated to proceed further. He glanced at his backpack on his side and groaned. This was an easy fix back home, considering he tore his costume more times than he could count, but it was a matter he was used to handling on his own. In a new world with a new body, Pierre was forced to make adjustments. Asking for a friend help dealing with his alter ego's life was going to be on that list. He gently knocked on the door, uncertain of the choice he had made. But before he could even consider a retreat, the door flew open. Peter, darling! Rarity said with a brightness in her voice. Mrs. Celestia told me about your dilemma. Please, come inside. Pierre felt his nerves slip. The sight before him was both elegant and bizarre. A fuzzy pink robe rested daintily over Rarity's shoulders and hugged her body tightly. The majority of her violet mane was wrapped into several pink hair curlers. A pair of jet black eyeglasses rested over her gorgeous ocean blue eyes. On one hand, Pierre was willing to admit that Rarity looked beautiful. But on the other, he couldn't help but ask why a horse was wearing a robe, hair curlers, and a pair of eyeglasses. I sometimes think I'm not trapped in a parallel world, but I've lost my marble. The latter seems so much more logical to the truth. I'm really sorry for the early morning visit, Rarity. I would have come by earlier, but Twilight insisted I come sooner, Pierre said honestly. Rarity stepped to the side and motioned for Pierre to come inside. It's nothing at all, dear. I must admit it is a bit early for my taste, but I marvel at the opportunity to repaint the culture scene of my life. Seriously, if this is a problem, stop that. You're reminding me of that aside. Now, come inside. Shrugging his shoulders, Pierre did as he was told. The interior of the house was far more impressive than the exterior. The drapes around each window was stretched to utmost care, and the rugs matched the color of the carpet just right. A fresh scent of vanilla filled the air. Surely refined. A fair representation of the pony who lived there. After a few moments, the pair made it to a large room filled with an assortment of dresses and pony-shaped marbles. Rarity's horn sparked, causing clarity to envelop the curlers in her hair. Each one gently pulled itself free until her entire mane fell behind her shoulder. Pierre's eyes widened at the display of beauty, but they quickly grew back into sarcastic thoughts. Hey, genius! Stop gawking at a horse! This unusually graceful and beautiful horse that smells of vanilla. Shut up! Peter, something the matter? His words hurt her thoughts like knives through butter. He shook his head and sighed simply. Sorry, your early morning beauty caught me off guard, he said nonchalantly, managing to kick himself right after. Dude, seriously, could you come off any lamer and weirder for calling a horse beautiful? She is beautiful, though. Oh my god, shut up! Much to his surprise, Rarity giggled. Thank you, darling. She stepped to the side and placed her hose on an empty table. Would you be so kind as to hand me your Dama's goods? Oh, right, Pierre said absentmindedly, as if he had forgotten about it. Reached down for a strap and used his mouth to pull it loose, allowing the backpack to fall gracefully from his back to the floor. Pierre ready to retrieve his possession, but he paused due to a small shadow that loomed over it. A tiny pony stood by the door. Her coat was white as snow like Rarity's, but her mane was a shade brighter and curlier. Large green eyes brightened when Pierre's chocolate oars came into contact. Hi! Are you a friend of my sister? Her voice practically squeaked. Pierre turned to Rarity with a curious smile. Sister? A robe removed itself from her figure and magically stretched out over her bed. Rarity trotted by the filly's side. I've forgotten my manners, since you have not been properly introduced yet. Peter, this is my baby sister, Sweetie Belle. If these ponies get any cure, I may have to revoke my man card. He gave the filly a friendly nod. Cuteness runs in the family, huh? He sighed angrily. Pardon me, sir. Give us back your man card or your remaining sanity. Rarity turned her awesome blue gaze to her sister. Sweetie, this is a nice pony who does moved in with Twilight and Spike the other day. His name is Peter Pony Parker. I want you to show him the utmost respect. Understood? Sweetie Belle rolls her eyes slightly. I promise behave. Yes, I'm not really. Both sisters playfully stared at each other before Rarity nodded and turned to the sewing room across the room. As he rummaged through her supply case underneath the table, Pierre glanced out of the corner of his eye, finding Sweetie Belle staring at him intensively. As the child, Pierre figured she didn't know what she was staring, but that thought was quickly dashed when Sweetie Belle began to circle around him. Her eyes sifted up and down across his frame. Pierre's muscles looked, and he made sure to stand perfectly still. This was clearly an inspection. Perhaps it was instinct telling her that Pierre was not what he seemed. Once Sweetie Belle gasped out loud, Pierre felt his heart nearly jump out of his chest. Mister, you know I have a green mark, Sweetie Belle said while her eyes grew wider by the second. Pierre let her sleeve sigh. Oh, forgot about the mark. He turned and shrugged his blank flank. Guess I don't, huh? Sweetie's eyes filled with horror. She laid foot in her hose frantically. But you're an adult! Does 19 count as an adult? He said to Rarity, who merely nodded. Pierre turned back to Philly. Because I am an adult, too. Is it weird for some pony my age to not have a cutie mark? No response was received right away. Instead, Sweetie Belle rushed out the door faster than a bolt of lightning. Grim look filled Pierre's features. He was already an outcast living among the creatures from a parallel universe. But it was downright unpleasant knowing he was a freak. His thoughts wandered before his eyes with realization. In a sense, the rate of his inspired blood was already going through a freaking enough label. Rarity, noticing trouble look in Pierre's eyes, walked over and gently closed the door to the room. Don't let it trouble you, darling. Sissy Belle's quite eccentric when she wants to be. Her gaze turned serious. Also, it gives me a chance to work on your secret in peace and without interruption. Now, if you may, please. Oh, right. Pierre planted his himself on his backpack and used his teeth to slip it open. However, before he could react, magical agencies enveloped the costume, causing it to levitate across the room until it landed on top of the sewing table. Pierre glanced at Rarity, who was responsible, and chuckled. Your Twilight makes the magic look so easy. I assure you, my math skills pale compared to the Twilight's. But considering she is Princess Celestia's apprentice, it is to be expected. If you want, I can teach you the basics, but I'm afraid you must rely on Twilight if you wish to advance techniques. However, that must wait for another day. Right now, we must discuss a more pressing matter. Pierre's eyes widened, the sun changed to Rarity's tone. And what would that be? You must simply allow me to redesign the entire costume. Details are too wide-eyed. She paused to give Pierre a blank stare. It's simply too tacky. He raised his tone defensively. Oh, come on, it's original! Hard to imagine why, she said sarcastically. There's no need for handsome culture to yourself to wear something so outlandish. Whatever makes you desire this as a design? I recently made it for a wrestling company, but my word, you designed it a couple of years ago. Yeah. Still unimpressed? Rarity's eyes continued to scan the costume carefully. The serious gaze she carried hinted that she was indeed unimpressed, but it softened and shifted to one surprise. She planted one hoof on the center of the costume, and used the other to stretch the arm out as far as she could reach. Giving a nod of approval, Rarity turned to the Pierre with a smile on her face. While I still say it's tacky, I must say that the technique behind the design is marvelous. It's surprisingly flexible and resilient. You say you made it yourself? Pierre placed a hoof on the back of his head. It's just a pair of tights. It's nothing. I beg to differ. The fact that you stitched something together so simple and steady tells me you have the skills to be a designer. You flatter me, but I'm no designer. Like you said, I just have tacky taste. His gaze shifted to a model right next to where he stood. It wore a crimson dress with several ocean blue diamonds etched across its entirety. Its glitter was astounding and left a sparkle in Pierre's eye. I'm no designer, but judging from this beautiful dress, you, Rarity, must be one of the absolute best in the world. Rarity's face flushed, so he attempted to laugh the compliment off, only to stammer about clumsily. Clearing her throat, Rarity managed to recollect herself, but failed to notice the crimson blush that stained her cheeks ever so. I appreciate it, Pierre. Unfortunately, I have yet to be noticed. Unfortunately, hopefully in the future, others may share your opinion. Trust me, unless they're blind, they have to know your amazing talent sooner or later. Her cheeks burned even more intensively. She locked her eyes on the costume and away from Pierre. Her smile could not be contained as easily. He's so charming and handsome. To be honest, I wasn't so sure about this at first. After seeing your work, I know ponies will be happy to see the new duds. Would you mind doing me a favor, though? Rarity turned her head and suddenly changed in Pierre's voice. The smile on his face remained earnest, and contrasted with the sad gaze in his eye. Pierre let out a somber sigh as he walked over to Rarity's side, and stared a glance at the shredded costume. If it's okay, try not to stare too far from the original design. It's a selfish request, but I'm begging you for this. I wore the costume the day my life changed forever, the day I made a horrible mistake. His voice grew visibly shaky, sending a wave of uneasiness through Rarity's heart. It reminds you of a mistake. If you don't mind my asking, what happened exactly? She said, pausing when Pierre's sad eyes made contact with rose and blue orbs. Why would you ever want to forget about it? You, pony, usually likes to remember anything bad, let alone be reminded of it constantly. No, Fick, we agreed. We're not doing the Ben Parker flashback. We're not doing the Uncle Ben thing. No, you promised me on my deathbed I was not going to have to do that. Pierre shook his head and snapped out of a trance. Mentally slapped himself. That was the second time he almost let his secret out. It was enough that these ponies accepted him in a world with open hearts and promised to keep his identity secret. But he did not need to trouble with his unforgivable past. There's a good chance he would hate him if they learned the truth about his uncle. Glanced over to Rarity, whose expression grew worried, and offered a apologetic smile. I can't say, but I never forgive myself if I forgot, he said, pushing down the lump in his throat. Rarity furrowed a brow and gave Pierre a stern glare, causing him to chuckle nervously. I understand if it's too much. Gently raising her hoof, Rarity shook her head. It's nothing at all, dear. I'll take your request into consideration. Luckily, I have something in mind. I shall have your costume done by tomorrow. Thanks, Rarity. Giving Rarity an honest smile, Pierre made his way back to the door. I feel like I bothered you enough for one day. See you in the morning. You go, Peter. There's something I need you to give. Okay, but what is... His eyes shut open when something warm wrapped around his neck. The scent of vanilla poured into his senses when he realized Rarity had pulled him in a warm embrace, with a hoof on his shoulder and a head against his own. Taken aback by this act of affection, Pierre felt his muscles lock against his own will. After what seemed like an eternity, Rarity pulled away from Pierre and giggled softly. I want to thank you again for saving my life. If there's anything you need, I need anything. Please do not hesitate to ask. Dear Princess Celestia, I've learned a valuable lesson today. Every pony is different in various ways. Just because one may dress unpleasantly does not give the other rights of hostility. At first glance, a difference may sound unappealing, but with an open heart, you may find it to be the most appealing trait instead. Sincerely, Rarity. So everything went okay with Rarity? Twilight said, keeping her gaze fixed on the inside of the book on her table. Pierre allowed himself to collapse on the plush couch. Rolling over to his side, Pierre said, Yeah. She said the costume will be fixed tomorrow. Guess that means no heroics for today. That's good to hear. Gives us time to practice perfecting your magic. Reaching for his pillow, Pierre threw down his worm-raised words, closed his eyes. However, energy formed around his body, causing him to disappear and reappear behind Twilight. He fell on his stomach with a smack, and immediately rolled his eyes at Twilight. Oh, come on, it's Saturday! Can we practice later today? Like, when it's not morning? Okay, knock off your book. No, Pierre. The Grand Galby Gala is within a week. I want to tell Princess Celestia that you've been studying hard. The Galby? What? What is... Wait a minute. I thought this was supposed to be said after Discord. A soft sound knocks at the door, interrupting his question. He glanced at Twilight, but she remained focused on her book, prompting Pierre to answer the door instead. Pushing the door open, his eyes widened at the sight of 3 small ponies, Sleep Belle standing among them. Before Pierre could say anything, Sleep pointed her hoof at Pierre. That's the Pony Crusaders! Pierre's eyes twisted voluntarily. Sleeping in was out of the question. Again.